first color this week is going to be called Something Sweet, and this is a pink pastel. This was from the same collection as Up in the Air and Flying High and Peachy Keen and Lemon Fizz. It was that pastel collection from like 2010. This is the last China Glaze video that I have for you guys, and then next week I will be starting with Essie. This particular color is a really pretty sort of cotton candy pink color in a pastel formula, and it has the typical pastel formula. You have to be careful with it or else it will be really streaky. Not that easy to work with, but if you're kind of sure of your strokes and do like a strong first coat, for example, then it's, you know, it's easier to work with. So yeah, that's the first coat of Something Sweet. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Something Sweet, and this gets fully opaque in 2 coats. The pink gets a little bit like chalkier looking, like brighter, and yeah, I don't know, not much else to say about it. I feel like this was one of the colors that I used most from that collection. I remember Makeup by Tiffany D was like obsessed with this color for a while, and she like wore it all the time in her videos for part of the year. Anyway, that's like a random anecdote about this color. So yeah, that is what it looks like after 2 coats. So this is what Something Sweet looks like up close. I think I am going to destash this one. I have a couple of other light pinks from other brands that I know I'm going to keep. I have some from OPI that I have kept already, so this one just is going to get the boot. The next color is called 108 Degrees, and this is a, it's like a mid-tone pink, but it is in a glass fleck formula. It has a little bit of like a blue shift in it. It's not super strong. This is definitely primarily pink with like a pink glass fleck running through it. It's very similar to Gilda from Zoya. So yeah, that is the first coat. It is pretty sheer, but it does build up pretty well. I'm going to go now with the second coat of 108 Degrees, and this actually evens out the color really nicely. This is one of those colors that I feel like never gets 100% opaque because of just the nature of the polish. It is sort of sheer. It's like always going to be sort of sheer. With the Zoya glass flecks, I feel like there's so much glass fleck in those that it covers up any visible nail line. But this one I feel like is a little bit more sparse, and the particles are much like more finely milled. So yeah, that is the second coat. This is basically as opaque as it's gonna get. So this is what 108 Degrees looks like up close. It's really pretty. It's very, very pink. It's gonna be a really nice summer color. Unfortunately, because I have one that's similar to it from Zoya, I am gonna destash this one. The next color is called Ahoy, and this one is a mid-tone pink with a gold shimmer running through it. Whenever I say this, I always think about the captain from How I Met Your Mother and how he says ahoy for everything. But yeah, this is a really pretty color. This one is also a little bit on the sheer side. The gold color does come out a little bit, or the gold shimmer does come out a little bit stronger than the last color. So yeah, that's the first coat. It is pretty sheer, goes on really nicely, and builds up really well. So that's the first coat of Ahoy. I'm going to go now with the second coat of Ahoy, and this gets fully opaque in 2 coats. It is really easy to layer upon itself and is a really nice kind of berry toned pink color. I don't know. It's a really nice wearable color. I feel like it's something that a lot of people would like because it's just that mid-tone pink where it goes along with a lot of people's skin tones and is just very like work appropriate and easy to wear. So that is 2 coats of Ahoy. So this is what it looks like up close. This is totally an underrated nail polish. I did mention this in my first underrated nail polish video. It's really pretty, and I just feel like it's like anonymously inside of China Glaze's like collection, but it's so pretty. However, I haven't used it very often as much as I really like it. Like I don't know. I've gotten out of the habit of wearing polish like a lot, you know, like I don't change my nail polish as much as I used to. So this one is going to get destashed just because I know it'll go to a happier home. This next color is called Pool Party. This is the original Pool Party from the Pool Party collection. I did swatch the new formula of Pool Party, which was that sort of red color. This is definitely a neon pink. So yeah, that is what the first coat looks like. This has a typical neon formula where it's, you know, it is a very finicky formula. If you don't treat it as such, it does go streaky. But yeah, that is the first coat of Pool Party. I'm going to go now with the second coat of Pool Party, and this gets fully opaque in 2 coats. And yeah, it's just a really neon pink color. There are other colors out there now that are very similar to this. This one I just always pull towards because I remember that I have it the most. I don't know. I just like the Pool Party collection was the first neons collection that I like really purchased from. So they're always the first ones that I think of. So that is what Pool Party looks like. So this is what Pool Party looks like up close. I am going to keep this one. Again, it's kind of like my go-to neon pink. So yeah, that's Pool Party. The next color is called Rose Among Thorns. This one I actually purchased at Rite Aid. I realized that like 3 years ago, Rite Aid was selling China Glaze nail polishes, and I saw this on the stand, and I thought it was very, very pretty, and I purchased it. This is a more red-toned pink neon. Not much to say about it. Again, similar formula. And that is what the first coat looks like. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Rose Among Thorns. And this gets pretty much opaque in 2 coats. It does get a little bit pinker, even though it does look very red in the bottle. So yeah, that is 2 coats of Rose Among Thorns. This is what Rose Among Thorns looks like. I am going to destash this one. It's really similar to actually the reformulated version of Pool Party, and yeah, I don't know. I just don't wear it very often, so this is going to get destashed. The next color is called Peonies in Park Avenue. This is a like neon cream color. I think I actually saw Lindsay wearing this one or Valicia wearing this one, and was totally sold on it. This is, again, it's a neon pink, but it's in a cream formula instead of a standard neon formula. So in the first coat, it's actually easier to apply than a regular neon. And then it builds up pretty well as well. So yeah, that is the first coat of Peonies in Park Avenue. I'm going to go now with the second coat of Peonies in Park Avenue, and this does get fully opaque in 2 coats. And it applies really smoothly in that second coat. So yeah, that is what the second coat looks like. So this is what Peonies in Park Avenue look like up close, and yeah, I do like it, but I just don't wear it very often either. I'm not super into mid-toned pink creams on my skin tone, so yeah, it's gonna get destashed. The next polish is called Neon and On, and this came out in it was a neon collection that China Glaze did, full of like pastel neons and then some like jelly neons, which I actually have one of. This one I purchased because I was hoping it would be similar to the original Pool Party, which I will actually show you guys next. And it's actually not close to the original Pool Party. It is much closer to the revised Pool Party, I guess, the reformulation. So yeah, this is what it looks like. This has pretty much a typical pastel formula, not the greatest in the first coat, but it does build upon itself pretty well. It can get streaky if you manipulate it too much though. So that's the first coat. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Neon and On, and this is opaque in 2 coats. I usually do a thicker coat of the second coat for this one just because, again, if you manipulate it too much, it does get streaky like I did there. So yeah, that is the second coat of Neon and On. So this is what it looks like up close. I think I am going to destash this one because I don't wear it very often. It's really pretty. It's great for summer, especially on the toes. But yeah, I just don't wear it, so I am just going to destash it. So the rest of this video is going to be a little bit different. I have 4 colors left, and they are all very, very similar. So what I'm going to do is do one color on each of my 4 fingers. and those are my fingers. And it's because I am going to compare them all to Flip Flop Fantasy. This one right here is the reformulated version. You can see it's a little bit lighter and a little bit creamier. This is the original. This is a little bit darker, a little bit more saturated, a little bit less pastel of a neon. So that is what they look like. And I'll actually show you the other two bottles in comparison as well. So these are the last four colors. So again, this is the reformulated Flip Flop Fantasy. This is the original Flip Flop Fantasy. This one right here is Thistle Do Nicely, and this one is Shallow. So Thistle Do Nicely was actually from a collection, I think like 3 years ago. And I found it while browsing Peachy Polish's website and her swatches to see if I could find anything from China Glaze that would be similar to the original Flip Flop Fantasy, and I saw Thistle Do Nicely just by itself in Swatch and thought that looked very, very similar. So I did purchase it off of Amazon and was very happy because they are virtually indistinguishable. You guys can see that they're pretty much the closest in terms of dupes out there, that they're essentially the same color. So I'm really excited to show you guys that one. And then this one right here is Shallow. This is like a jelly neon. That was from the collection that Neon and On came from. And before I found Thistle Do Nicely, that was the closest in tone to the original Flip Flop Fantasy. So those are the four colors I'm going to show you on my nails. I'll tell you right now that I am keeping all four. It does seem like overkill, but it's because I don't have a backup of the original Flip Flop Fantasy, so Thistle Do Nicely sort of became my backup of it, so that's why I'm keeping this one. Shallow I do really like as a jelly, and the reformulated Flip Flop Fantasy I use on my toes all the time. So yeah, I'm keeping all four, but I will do a comparison swatch of all of them on my fingers for you, coat by coat. So yeah, that is just what the rest of this video is going to be. So on my index finger, I'm going to put down the first coat of the reformulated Flip Flop Fantasy. This is an orangey coral neon color in a cream type formula, or I guess just a regular neon formula. And that's what it looks like in the first coat. My middle finger is going to have the original Flip Flop Fantasy on it, so you guys can see that it is much pinker than the reformulated Flip Flop Fantasy. It has a more pink tone to its coral base. My ring finger is going to have Thistle Do Nicely, and you guys can see that basically in color and in formula it is, I would say, a 99.9% dupe. If you do want to be finicky and technical with it, I would say that Thistle Do Nicely is just like a 0.5% lighter than the original Flip Flop Fantasy, but they look very, 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 very similar to the point where I'm completely comfortable saying that it is a dupe. And then the last, my pinky finger is going to have Shallow on it, and you guys can see that formula wise it's completely different than the other three. It's very, very sheer. It's definitely a jelly. So yeah, I am going to do a second coat of all of those once this is dry. So I'm going to go in now with the second coat of the reformulated Flip Flop Fantasy. This gets opaque in 2 coats, and again, much more of, it's like almost like a neon salmon color. So yeah, that is 2 coats of the reformulated Flip Flop Fantasy. I'm going to go in with the second coat of the original Flip Flop Fantasy, and this, if anything, just makes it opaque. It doesn't get any more pink or any more orange toned or anything. So yeah, that is the original Flip Flop Fantasy. And I'm going to go in now with the Thistle Do Nicely color, and it is opaque in 2 coats, and again it's exactly the same as the original Flip Flop Fantasy. And I'm going now with the second coat of Shallow, which just adds a nice tint of neon. So yeah, that is the second coat of all of those. So this is what all 4 of them look like up close. I think I actually am going to destash Shallow now that I think about it. I'm not going to use it as much, so that's going to get destashed. But as you can see by these 3 colors, they are very similar, but again, I kind of use them interchangeably as backups for each other. So yeah, those 3 I am going to keep. And that is the end of my China Glaze nail polish collection. I hope you guys like this. If you guys want more in-depth info on Thistle Do Nicely as a dupe, I do have a blog post of this. I wrote this up when I purchased Thistle Do Nicely, so I will link that down below so you guys can see photos of how they compare. So yeah, this is the end of my China Glaze swatch my stash. I hope you guys liked this series. I will be starting with Essie next week, so I hope you guys are excited for that. And then otherwise, I hope you are doing well, and I will see you guys soon.